Hello, my name is Dr. Prashant Upadhyay and I welcome you all on this course of Introduction to Python Programming and its application. In this course, we will going to teach you how to write a program in Python and how to use the Python code for building a machine learning application. In this lecture, we will going to talk about the advanced data types that are being used in the Python, and in this lecture we will going to talk about the list.
Okay, we have seen the data types. What we have seen first, we will going to revisit that. We have seen integer, float, in the string. Next data types, or I can say the advanced data type, which we will going to study in. So the advanced data type which we will going to study in the Python are the list, tuples, dictionaries. We will first try to understand the concept of a list, and then we will try to understand how the list and tuples are different from each other. So when we are defining the list, okay, so list is also known as the collection of a data. So what I can say that whenever we are talking of a list, we simply say it as a collection of a data. It can be of any type of data. Let's say we are talking about the student present in a class and we are talking about their UID. So or UID, or we can simply UID stand for your roll number. So or either we can say roll numbers. Okay, so what we can say, we want to collect all these roll numbers and we want to store it. For an example, 50 student, and I want to store that 50 students name in the list. What I can do that I can create the roll number, whatever the roll number you have got, and I can store it in the list. Okay, therefore list is known as the collection of a data. The next thing is that how we will going to represent the list. So whenever we are talking about the list, so generally we say list is being represented by this square bracket. Okay, for example, if you want to talk about the student height, let's say what I can say, I have got student 1. I'm just writing short form student 1, height student 2, height student, let's say 10. I'm defining their height. Let's say I'm defining 150 centimeter, 155 centimeter, 45. So what I'm doing is that I'm defining it individually. Student 1 height is 150 centimeters, student 2 height 155, student 10 height is 145. I can use one of the data type that is known as the list, and what I can do that I define the one variable. So let me define the variable student underscore height, and I will use how I have to use the list. I use the square bracket. Okay, I will use this square bracket. Let's say I will start writing 150, 155, okay, and so on to 140. These initial values are being separated by this comma. Okay, so basically this 150 automatically is being assigned to this student 1 height. Okay, this 150 is automatically assigned to this student 2 height. Okay, similarly we can say that whenever we are finding the multiple values, okay, so we have to separate it by a comma. So initially what we can say that we can also create an empty string. Okay, so what we can do, we can also create a, let's say, student underscore height equal to like this. So this will be telling you that this is your empty string, or we can say empty list. When you are defining the values, okay, so whenever you are defining the values, okay, so you can initially, if you don't have any values and you want to make it into the list, so what you can do, you can just define the empty list, and then what you can do, you can, whatever the values you are getting, okay, you can simply insert these values in the list. Let's say, just for the example, just for the sake of example, okay, so I have created some list, and let's say this list is the, let's say, user height only. So right now this is my list. I have created this user list. So right now this list is a totally empty. That means there is nothing in the list. Whenever you are defining the list, we have got the associated values, and that values are related to this positions. So let's say uh, I define the user height, and what I can say, if you have got the idea of an array, you can just compare this as a book shelf. Okay, so you have got a compartment in that. Even the almirah you are using, you have got the compartment. Okay, so you are just giving the position of it. This position will be known as the zeroth position. Okay, then this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is the position, I can say position. Okay, so whenever you want to call, when I'm just referring it, whenever you want to call values stored at this position, what you can use, you can just call the user height bracket that particular position, and the value associated to that position will going to. So these positions are also referred as to, in the technical language, these are known as the indexes. Yeah, I'm just repeating it again. So whenever you are creating a list, okay, so I have created an empty list. Okay, so you can see that I have created this empty list, and I have created this empty list in which I have defined the 6 positions. Okay, so you can see that I can have a value, I can have a value here, 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 one value, second value, third value, fourth value, fifth value, and sixth value. Whatever the value I will going to give, these values can be entered here. So whenever we are defining the list, we always define the list from the zero indexing and then moving ahead. Okay, so we can say we have a zero indexing, one indexing, two indexing, third indexing, four indexing, and five indexing. You can see that right now we can store 6 elements in it. Instead of starting from 1, the indexing value start from the 0. Whenever you want to access the value at this, how you can use, you can simply write user underscore height and just put a 0 here. So whatever the values, let's say I'm just putting here x. Okay, so whatever the value x is here, it will going to be. That means you are just asking the Python to give the values present at this zero indexing. So suppose we have created this empty list and there is no item in, and we want to insert some item in. Okay, let's say if whatever the user height we will get, we want to insert it. Basically, what we can do, we can use a function known as the append. So we will be using this function append. Whatever the value you will going to add into the append, it will going to be added into the starting position of the list. Okay, so let's say if you want to append something, let's say I want to enter the value of user height to be 150. I will going to append this function with the help of the list. Okay, so how I will going to do, have to use this user height list, where I have to append this at a user height, and then I will use this append function. So let me take one example. Okay, so empty string is clear to you. We have empty list. This was your empty list. Okay, this was your empty list. Okay, now what we will going to do is that, so I want to define a list of fruits. So let's say I define a list, I take a list, and I define it as a name. Okay, so what is my variable name? My variable name is fruits, and I, let's say I define it as a apple, then let's say mango, and let's say another fruit is like orange. Okay, so how it will going to be arranged? So when we have defined this, first we have defined this list. This will going to be arranged like this. I'm trying to give you the idea which how it will going to be. So we have got apple. First we have got apple here. Okay, then we have got mango here, and then we have got orange here. And if I talk about the positioning, This is my indexing value 0. So whatever I will going to use here, okay, that will be your 0 indexing, this will be your 1 indexing, and this will be your 2 index. So just to remove here in curly bracket, if you got, so we have to use this indexing with the square bracket. Whether you are defining the list or a tuple, you have to use this square bracket. Okay. And now suppose if I want to append the orange in it, how I will going to append it? Let's say I use a function append. Let me append what I want to append. Let's say I want to append another fruit name, can be let's say cherry or a banana, whatever you want. Let's say cherry. Right now what is happening is that I have used this function append. I don't know how append will going to work, because I have defined the append, but what to append, okay, where to append, we don't know. You're getting this point? We have defined the append, okay, we have defined this value append, that I want to append the cherry, but where we have to append? So we have to provide the variable name in front of the append. So how I will going to use? I will going to use it like this. I will be using a, see it carefully, that I will be using a fruits, this is my fruits, okay, dot append, okay, fruits dot append, and then what will going to happen is that this will going to create one more value in the list, okay. It will going to create one more positioning, and it will going to add cherry here, okay. And now what we will get, this value will be your third position, okay, or we can say at the indexing third, this will going to be here. See, when we are using the append function, so automatically it will going to add it into the last. If you want to insert, if you want to use an insert function and you want to define the particular position reserve, then you can use an insert function. And if you want to insert the cherry between apple and mango, okay, so you can just provide the position at which you want to insert this cherry. So this was the first thing. And the second thing is that if you have seen, this was the indexing, this we have used as an indexing, okay. So this indexing is also known as the positive indexing. We can also go for the negative index. Negative indexing means that we can, when we are moving from left to right, you can see apple was at the left and then cherry was on the rightmost part. So from apple to mango, we are, what we are doing, we are moving from left to right, and mango to orange, again from left to right, then orange to cherry, again left right, okay. If we want to move in a opposite direction, that means we have to move from the right to left. When we are using a negative 0, and positive 0 are same, therefore we cannot assign the negative index and negative index, we cannot assign the -0 to it, okay. So how we will going to define? Negative indexes are always starting from the -1, okay. So how I will going to define? I will going to define it as a -1, -2, -3, and minus. So you can see that if I am defining, let's say, fruits at 0, okay, fruits at 0. So I will be getting apple. Let's say I am be getting apple, and if I define fruits at -4, again I will be getting the. So this list concept is clear to you. So let's say I define the fruits. Okay, fruits equal to, let's say I'm defining an apple, and let's say another is my mango, and let's say another one is my uh, first thing I have to verify. First thing I have to verify that what this fruits is. Okay, so how I can verify what is the class of a fruit? So simply I have to do, okay, to try to make this a habit to know the class of it. Okay, whenever you are able to know the classes, whether the class is integer, you have seen that we have defined the class of integer, if whether the thing we are defining is an integer or not, whether the class is a string or whether the class was your fruit. Generally, we have to check the class of a fruits. You can see easily on your screen. It say the class is the list. Then what is present at the fruits fruits at 0 position. Okay, so I'm doing, I'm just accessing the value fruits at the 0 position or 0 indexing. So you can find that we have got apple. Okay, similarly if I write this command again and I put it here, fruits equal to 1, so you can find I have got a O. And similarly if I write fruits equal to 2, you will get the yes. The next thing is that now I have defined the negative indexing also. So let's say I want to access the negative value of it. So let's say I want to access the -1. Okay, so what will be the value of -1? You can see that what we have got a cherry here. If I put here -2, you can find that I get mango. If I put -3 here, I will get apple. Okay.
Thank you. I hope you have enjoyed this lecture.